You have dealt with various social issues through your films, documentaries. But what made you get interested in climate change?
The general common sense about an artist is generally if you see art comes from your own experience, your own world, and especially in suffering, you kind of come out as a better artist, to tell that story, whether in painting, music, or storytelling, cinema, anything. So for me, I think growing up, initially I felt growing up in that village which was cut off from the rest of the world, no communication, not a good school. We used to feel cursed. Today I feel I was the luckiest one, that I grew up in a village which had the perfect ecosystem. There's the river, there's the village, there's farmland, mountain, everything you have, all the resources are yours. From there, when I grew up, coming to a smaller town like Sonpur, to Sambalpur, to Bhubaneswar, to Delhi, to London, so I realized I kind of started sensing there's something wrong, there's something scary in the air. And I could sense that. I started feeling suffocated. It eventually started affecting my mental health. So that I realized that yes, it is something, there's something strongly going wrong. As an artist, started seeing the degradation, overall environmental degradation, be it cutting forest, be it so much of, dust, so much of dhua, whatever you see. And as a filmmaker, incidentally, I got into a career that which I loved as an artist, and I thought this is a great world. I mean, this is the best way to tell stories. So the problem here is what we still fight, maybe as a organization, WRI is still fighting, Government of India is still fighting. Climate change, environmental issue is still about organizations, still about books, still about study, research. It's still people doesn't feel that it is happening with me. It is I am responsible. When, if you remember 2005, the world was not much aware. There was still dialogue happening. Is it due to climate change? Is it because of Paradip port? Or is it natural, process? So that film was one of kind of a first film in India to create dialogue that why is this? So it comes to a point that this is due to sea level rise. Sea level rise is due to rise in temperature. So then it kind of defined me in a different way. Oh my God. So we are in a serious trouble. And then I started doing stories, Then I did Kadvi Hawa. Then on water crisis, I did Kaun Kitne Pani Mein. I did a very interesting short film about the emotional impact of climate change called Megha's Divorce. That how there are divorce happening in Delhi because of Delhi pollution. And then now my recent film is Kalirati, the Yesterday's Past, which is traveling around the world now. And this film is actually a shocking film based on the first film. So these are all fictional films now, what I'm trying to tell people.
What was the motivation behind Kadvi Hawa?
Look, the problem till today is if you talk about climate change, oh, let's see a TEDx show, let's see a documentary. It's still about that. So to tell a story about and the Syam Benegal had given a very interesting statement way back in 2015 or something that it is impossible to do a feature film on climate change. Okay, so if you see Kadvi Hawa is all about air. How things have changed, how seasons have changed, how extreme weather conditions. From these two characters, one has a lot of water, one doesn't have water to drink even. And it's a fictional film. My whole idea to do that fictional film was to reach out to mainstream masses who may not like to watch a documentary, who would like to watch something emotional. So, and the story is about what? Look at the hero, a 70 years old, blind, poorest man of India is the hero. And it has made a lot of people cry. All he wants to do is to save his son. And who's the villain is the climate.
What are the main issues that the country, we as a country, is surrounded with when it comes to climate change?
India, if you ask me, what India is facing is, if you see fossil fuel, both household as well as, power itself is, we produce so much. Transport, industrialization. As a developing country, you need economy, you need mining, you need to open your coal field, you need to create more steels. But end of the day, how much do you need? We have, if we see, India's challenge is much 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 bigger because we have a huge population, and unless we put something in order, unless we put something in planned manner, will face severity. But the post-pandemic, imagine how much plastic we are producing, from masks to PPE kit to what we are doing. And we don't know how many pandemics will come in the future. Do we have a plan for that? One of the another very important thing for India is saving the urban forest. So the whole RA colony is a great example to for India to see how you save your urban areas.
So, in your opinion, has transport a strong linkage in air quality as well as climate change?
I would consider transport is a huge cause. I mean, look at the city we live. That's my film Mega's Divorce is all about. So Mega's Divorce is about a husband and wife fighting for a divorce in the court. That wife says that, look, my son cannot live here. I mean, this is what happened to my child. When he was 11 years old, the doctor strictly said that you cannot send your child in winter to the park because he's consuming poison. So Delhi's whole responsibility, world, it has become world's number one and number two, I'm forgetting the number, polluted city because of transport. And Delhi has shown the way. Otherwise, every Diwali comes and you talk about, oh, green pataka, green Delhi, blah, 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 and then it get over. So you are talking about pandemic today, how many people you are admitting in hospitals. Does anybody calculate how many people get admitted because of pollution during winter in Delhi? This is a great time to learn lesson and looking forward to a better world. The pandemic has given us a lesson. Pandemic has told you, just because you stopped driving, just because you took out two cars from your house, the Delhi pollution was clean. We had ever, Delhi had cleanest air. How? So the ecosystem is fine.
What is it that we can learn from pandemic so that the post-pandemic tomorrow is not what it was in, let us say, 2018 or 2019 or 2020?
So I think I would consider that nature always gives you a warning, okay? And it kept on giving you warning. Be it Mumbai flood continuously, be it the frequency and the intensity of cyclones in Odisha. So the pandemic came, a virus which made us put us down inside the room. Now, that made everyone as human to realize the importance of nature, importance of a tree, importance of the clean sky, importance of water, everything. So we started talking about you. Those birds whose space we had taken, they came back to their space. So pandemic is something, let's take it, blessings in disguise. That pandemic has taught us what nature can give us, what nature can, we have given to nature. It is our time now to stop things at least where it was and try and understand strategically as every human to and feel responsible for your own world and treat yourself in a better way. So we have learned the lesson. It is time that these smaller things we need to start sensitizing ourselves and not blame the government or organizations they to do it. So that's one of the things which your work is fantastic, is about promoting this whole electric mobility.
There is a lot of conversation going around electric mobility and especially using renewable energy as the electric source, like a lot of solar and wind. Is that something you think that we as a country should promote more actively in a post-pandemic world?
Absolutely. Let's look at smaller country. They're teaching us also the way they're looking at the future. Wind power, solar power, electric power. We need to start thinking about this very seriously.
How can organization like ours help connect with people like you so that the whole question of environment becomes a mass movement? Is this a possibility, and if so, how can we do it?
I'm really happy the kind of concept you have, the kind of thought you have, or the vision you have to restore the world's ecosystem. I really like it. Any organizations, as organizations, you can do for limitations. I think it is also a responsible for me as a storyteller to tell the world. So what I do, how we start making people sensitized to say, I am responsible. If I do this, this will happen. I am doing this, which is why the world is gone wrong. Or I can do this. Or in my area, this is what. So the me story, we need to define a very interesting movement for people where the me story comes. So Odisha government has started saying that every school children, college children will have to have a course on disaster resilience, disaster preparedness. A Yodha at home is what is our chief minister's concept. Okay, why? Because it is need of the hour. So for pandemic and any sort of natural disaster, you are prepared. What? Technically you are prepared, mentally you are prepared, so that it will come. You can't stop it, but at least you won't face the aggression the way it is been showing. Similarly, I think it is very important to advocate to the world, to government, to everybody, to talk environment matter in a different way now. Let's start talking personal stories of people. Let's involve as a person, you know, bringing celebrity to bringing people to, and do not talk like a campaign, but very personal level. Story sells in India. So people like us has more responsibility to tell the stories, more responsibility to make people aware that the situation you are in, you need to be very conscious. The way we got conscious about virus, wear mask and made social distance, you have to be that serious about your environment. Then only we can save our future, a better planet we can give to our children.